Welcome back to Hashtag Nation, guys. We got an absolute banger for you today. 3 and outs. If you guys have been a fan of Hashtag for a while, you know that I like to bang the table about 3 and outs all the time. Me and the boys going back and forth and have a little bit of discussion about this one. Let me know in the comment section if you think 3 and out should be considered a statistic when measuring quarterbacks. As always, leave a like. It lets YouTube know this is a good video and people should follow it. You should also follow us and become a member of Hashtag Nation. Let's go talk about 3 and outs. Paul, I've been banging on the table, literally right now, banging on the table about it. You always make fun of me. A lot of people make fun of me, but you know, that's just the nature of the beast in this business. I want 3 and outs to be registered as some kind of metric to measure quarterback play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've said it for a long time. They got to be a turnover. 3 and outs are a turnover. Mm-hmm. Okay. You give your defense a minute and a half rest. That's awesome. It bothers me to a degree when they do all these metrics to measure quarterbacks and this and that. And we're going to be examining Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, which the two people you guys love examining those two next to each other, but it's hilarious to do that. And we're going to go over their statistics as well. But should 3 and outs be considered a metric when you take into account quarterback play?
No,
not at all.
Well, here's why, right? I think 4 years ago, this argument holds water, right? I disagree now because so many teams go for it on fourth, right? Like if it's 4th and 3, the percentage of teams that go for it in the league now is so much higher than it ever has been that, you know, I think the 3 and out as a turnover is definitely a part of the conversation in 2019, right? I don't know in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. So many teams are so aggressive on 4th down that, you know, is that really a thing? Because if you're going forward on 4th down, you're basically giving the ball away, right? You're risking just giving the ball up.
If you punt it, you're actually giving the ball away. You know what I mean?
But you're giving up, but you're willing to give the ball up in a different part of the field. Right, like
we've seen some punts go 12 yards. That's all I'm saying. I am just saying, like for a metric, like if you guys want to go back to the 1 year Tyrod, he played 15 games. He had 43 and outs that season, and everyone marveled at, he only threw 6 picks. Oh, that's great. That's great. He's not moving the ball though, and there's no metric to measure that. Like if you want to, the statistics for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson this year are as tight as they can get. You know, they're pretty close in completion percentage, QBR, yardage. Jackson has 10 total touchdowns to Allen's 7. But when you look at it over the first 3 weeks of the season, Allen has 4 3 and outs. Jackson has 10. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it in that respect, okay, he's not throwing a pick or fumbling the ball. Well, he did have 1 fumble, but you start to look at it, you say, listen, that's 6 extra possessions that he couldn't move the ball over like Allen moving the ball. And that, you know, and it proved to be, you know, costly against that when they played the Bills, when the Ravens played the Bills. You know, they couldn't get that last first down, you know what I mean, that they had to get. And it was costly to them. So, I mean, Ryan, I think that you're kind of new to me banging the table for 3 and outs and stuff like this, and you know, it's become a joke. But what is your take on this? Do you think that at some point it should be measured as a metric for seeing how good a quarterback is? Oh yeah, he didn't throw a pick or fumble, but we didn't move the ball anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to, right? Like you've heard the you know, the adage being used over the last probably 10 years that sacks are a quarterback stat, right? So all of a sudden, like those are quarterback sacks. So can we talk about like Lamar Jackson was sacked 7 times and that lost to the Lions? Like, I mean, that's something you have to account for, right? And if you're accounting for sacks, then I think you also have to account for 3 and outs, because those, I mean, by and large, I mean, how many times have you seen a 3 and out where, you know, a quarterback misses a guy on 3rd down or sails the ball over a guy's head, or, you know, checks at the line of scrimmage or doesn't check at the line of scrimmage, and like what does that mean in terms of how the play develops, right? Like, so I think if you're accounting for something like sacks, which, you know, that was the big knock on Josh Allen at one point, right? Like, oh, he cleaned up the turnovers, but he's still taking a lot of sacks, right? And because he's running around and, you know, whatever. in arguably their biggest game of the season through the first three, like Lamar Jackson, like he had a bad game the other night. It doesn't bear out on the stat sheet because he didn't throw an interception. He did lose the one fumble, but he was sacked 7 times, and he had a lot. He had, I think, three and outs like in the second half. Like, you can't have that in these games that are going to be high scoring affairs, and you especially can't have it when your defense isn't playing up to snuff, right? Like, the Baltimore defense has been probably the biggest letdown of the NFL season for an individual unit. And when your defense can't come to play, like, your quarterback has to keep them off the field, and that means converting on third down. Additionally, when you've got a quarterback of the skill set of Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Justin Herbert, like these guys that don't have to just sit in the pocket and throw, like they can get out and move. Like, yeah, you have to hold three and outs accountable to them because you've got to stay on the field. And that carries into the fourth down situation, right? Like,
yeah,
if Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh can't trust that his offensive line can protect his quarterback, who can't help his offensive line by escaping, would-be sacks, yeah, you're not going to go for it on fourth down as much. Like, all of that comes into play through game scripts. And I think that this is the next stat that has to start getting held against quarterbacks, because if you're going to hold sacks against him, you got to hold 3 and outs against him too.
Yeah, and with the nature of the quarterbacks that are coming out in the NFL now that are so mobile, because the game has changed so much, they have more opportunity to get the first. It's not really on the offensive line or the wide receivers not getting open in as much, so they can use their legs in order to move around and get. Seeing that Lamar Jackson was sacked 7 times is almost unheard of because of how dangerous he is with his feet.
Well, he is getting older, though. Like, he is getting older there, Marg, and I think there's an interesting conversation here, because I know that we've always kind of looked at third down percentage as sort of like a marker of an efficient offense.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But now with teams so willing to go for it on fourth down, how true of a marker is that really? Because teams are far more likely to go for it on fourth down than
absolutely,
they used to be.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 8 is now, well, let's just get 6. Right. If we get to 4th and 2, we're going to go for it. We'll get an extra down. If we get 6 here. Yeah. So let's play a game, right? Give me in 2024 the teams that were the top 10 in third down conversion percentage. You don't have to guess the percentage, just what teams were highest in third down conversion percentage.
I want to say last year, I want to say Detroit. Is Detroit up there?
Number 4. 47.6%.
All right, Ryan, we'll ping back and forth. What do you think?
Buffalo is going to be on that list.
7th, 44%.
Oh, wow. Were the Chiefs on that at all?
Number 2, 48.5.
Well, that's
it has to be the Eagles, I would assume.
10th.
Wow.
That's why I said that. That's why I said that, right? So the Eagles were barely above 40% in third down percentage, but they went for it so frequently on fourth down that they throw that metric off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's there it is. You still got a few more to go.
Yeah. I only guessed Detroit because Campbell's insane.
I think Baltimore's probably on the list from last year.
Yeah. Baltimore's number 3, 48%.
I wonder who's won. That's just baffling to me.
It's weird. It's a weird one.
So yeah. So number 1, How was San Francisco on third down last year?
9th, 42%.
I love how we hit all 10 top 10s. Like,
we're missing 8, 6, 5, and 1.
Okay. Minnesota has got to be on there.
0, not on there.
Nada.
Because they took care of their business on 1st and 2nd. That's
what. 12-win team wasn't on that list.
Were the Bengals on it?
The Bengals were number 5 at 46.7%.
How about the Bucks?
Number 1.
Oh my God.
51%.
Big game Baker.
But again, you look at that quarterback, right? Yeah. You are not asking Baker Mayfield on 4th and 2 to do anything for you. You got to get it on third down.
That is true. Yeah.
Hey, so Baker has led 4 game-winning drives this season, and he's only played in 3 games.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy stuff?
He led the team down, and they scored.
Yep.
And then the blocked kick happened, and then he let him back down the field and scored again.
So there's only 2 teams left. Do you want to guess the last 2, or
were they both playoff teams? I'm assuming, yes.
One definitely. The other, I'm not sure on.
Green Bay.
No.
No. Okay. So not a playoff. They were a playoff team.
Atlanta?
Nope.
Houston.
Nope.
No, not
Wow.
Houston either. Pittsburgh.
Nope.
Oh God, I thought that'd been a sleeper.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the other playoff teams from last year.
The Rams.
Nope.
Damn,
Guys, this is getting bad.
This is
You're running out
hard.
playoff teams.
They are both playoff teams.
One of them definitely. I'm not going to Google it. I'll give you the one that I don't think was a playoff team, and that was Arizona. Arizona was 8.
Arizona was not a
43%.
playoff team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there
No,
you go.
no,
Arizona.
And the last one was a playoff team last year.
The last.
Was Seattle in the playoffs last year? No.
Was
No,
it Seattle though? Seattle was in the playoffs last
No,
year, right?
no, it was not Seattle.
AFC or NFC?
Because Gene had a
NFC.
big year last year.
NFC.
NFC.
NFC playoff team.
'Cause we got the.
It was a
referees,
surprise. It was a surprise
Washington.
playoff team. Yeah,
Washington.
Washington.
Oh, okay.
Washington
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
45.6%.
The other thing that's interesting, like I converted over to like who's got quarterbacks that can move. Like that's how
Yeah.
I thought of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to
Yeah.
be up there, right? 'Cause
That's true.
a different dynamic. I mean, you
Right.
look at the guys on the list. If you go down not only playoff teams, but guys that could, even Baker. Like Baker can get out of the pocket and go. The only
Yeah.
the only team on that list that didn't have a guy that can move is
The Bengals.
Yeah.
The Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, if you say Goff can move, like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So
Within the offense, he's asked to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he can move if someone's chasing him. By the way, did you guys hear
I think the NFL is it has shifting sands when it comes to third down conversions as being a marker of a good offense, right?
Mhm.
As well as 3 and outs. I think we can all agree that 3 and outs will most certainly stop a good team from beating an average team.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if you want an average team to beat a good team, you just can't give them the ball in 3 plays. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Mhm.
You can't allow those additional possessions. And I think that kind of leads into a different conversation. Maybe we'll make another episode about this. But like if you're Buffalo, like you got an offense that's just going to outscore people. So you can't give possessions, right? Like you
Yep.
just
Mhm.
can't give up possessions. And I think that's more damning for other teams than it is for Buffalo necessarily. But still think it's an interesting conversation because nobody wants to give up the football in 3 plays. I understand that.
Yeah.
But like you look at teams, even the best in the league were only 50% at converting third down. Like that's a surprisingly low number. I honestly just expected that to be 55, 56, 57.
Yeah, but
closer to 60.
some of the plays that they have even scripted or that they run out through the game and stuff like that, sometimes they don't get to third down. You know, some of those teams you score on a play or you do this or you do that. You know what I mean? There may be garbage time where you're like, you got your backup quarterback in, you do a 3 and out, you're just trying to burn some clock, maybe you punt, you know what I mean? Certain things like that will affect your third down percentage because they don't just necessarily go with the starter. But if they did have a metric to measure per quarterback how it works like that, they would be able to say, oh wait, his third down conversion percentage is this. His third down, you know, and they can take and mark it with the quarterback and they can say, well, you know, he's a great quarterback, doesn't turn it over, but he only converts 30% of his third downs. That's not good. You know what I mean? So we might be bleeding into another metric. You know what I mean?
Do you guys know the only team in the NFL this season that's averaging more than 50% conversion on third down?
I don't.
There's only one team that's got a better than 50% conversion.
It's got to be the Colts.
It'll be Colts.
Miami Dolphins.
Stop.
Come on.
54% of their third downs they've converted.
Stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a surprising number.
Tua MVP. There we go. I'm done. That ended it.
That's how you end the show.
That's how I bookmark it.